Namaskar and a very warm welcome to the 7th edition of the ISC FICCI Sanitation Award Ceremony and India Sanitation Conclave. In the insightful words of former Secretary General of United Nations, Mr. Kofi Annan, we shall not defeat any of the infectious diseases that plague the developing world until we have won the battle for safe drinking water, sanitation, and basic health care. These words resonate with profound significance as we convene today to recognize the critical impact of water, sanitation, and hygiene practices on climate change. I welcome on stage Ms. Natasha Patel, CEO, India Sanitation Coalition, to please give the opening remarks.
Please come in front. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you at the 7th ISC FICCI Sanitation Awards ceremony and the India Sanitation Conclave. As always, we have a very interesting lineup of events for you, and it is my sincere hope that as our guests over the next 2 days, we will have the pleasure of your company and insights through all our panels. We will commence the proceedings with our awards, which are now well established as the benchmark awards in the WASH sector. And again, this year, we have the pleasure of over 100 aspirants who applied for the 10 award categories. I am proud to share that more than 50% of the participants were applying for the first time, which shows the reach that these awards have across our country. We have with us the eminent scientist, Dr. R.A. Mashelkar, Chairman of the awards jury, as well as the Director General for the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, present with us today to hand out these awards, and accompanying him will be ISC's Chair, Ms. Nainanal Kidwai. As always, the government has been a huge source of inspiration and support in all our initiatives, and to share with us all over the next 2 days their vision for the WASH agenda in India, we have both the Ministers of Rural and Urban Sanitation, Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji and Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, the Secretaries of both the ministries, Srimati Vinny Mahajan ji and Shri Manoj Joshi ji, and their Joint Secretaries who will be addressing you as well. Unfortunately, the two ministers, because of the upcoming elections, are not here in person or will not be able to come in person, but we do have their addresses. As you are aware, this year's topic for the conclave is the impact of WASH on climate change. And as always, ISC, which focuses on all aspects of the WASH value chain, is excited to share some unique insights into both rural and urban sanitation and how it impacts climate change. The panels we have curated for this conclave address some of the most glaring challenges facing society today: legacy waste, resilience of our coastal cities to climate change, the challenges of urban sanitation, how to make our cities and towns plastic-free, and a very interesting challenge on how sustainability in WASH can only be achieved through private sector engagement, which would involve commercial funding along with government grants. Last year, we introduced to you a very new initiative that ISC was engaging in for the first time, called the Lighthouse Initiative, wherein we are working with the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation and several corporate houses to bring solid and liquid waste management infrastructure and practices to the 6.6 lakh villages of India. This project is in its first phase of completion across 78 GPs, and we will have the SMDs and corporates involved sharing with us their insights and learnings over the last 12 months. And finally, no discussion can be complete without a look at how communications around the development sector is evolving and how some eminent speakers who will be sharing with us their insights into what has been achieved till date and what remains to be done. I do hope you will find this agenda exciting as we do and will engage actively in all our discussions. Thank you very much. May I now, will you invite Naina? Come. May I now invite Ms. Naina Lal Kidwai to come up and give us her opening speech. So good morning, everyone. Here we are back at our annual and very important awards giving ceremony and deliberations on critical matters to do with sanitation, and now increasingly not just in terms of sewage and treatment therein, but also in the very important areas of plastic waste management, which is a new area for us, but one which you will hear through the next 2 days that we have embraced completely, and indeed have some very important projects underway, which I hope that you will contribute to, will understand what we are attempting to do, and even more important, guide what we are doing. So for us that work in this space, bringing all of you together here is a very important part of what we learn from. So thank you so much for being with us today. As Natasha mentioned, we are in fact doing this event as in a hybrid mode, which would enable a lot of people to engage and join us outside of the city as well. But for those of you who are here in person, do take the opportunity to network, to meet each other, to know each other, because we need to be one band that moves together. We need to be there to support each other as we grow on these journeys, which are new typically. We are embarking on some of these in a very considered, but in new spaces. And that guidance that comes from meeting with each other, learning from each other, to make sure we aren't replicating the wrong things, because for everything we learn, we want to be able to scale it up through replication and not by everyone trying to reinvent the wheel. So let me start by welcoming all of you to this very important event. And most important amongst us, Dr. Raghunath Anand Mashelkar ji, who really deserves a big hand. Yeah. And for all the hundreds of hats that he wears, the energy and time he gives us, guiding the awards, leading the awards that we give, guiding our work, and then being here in person every year since we started, is indicative of his complete and utter understanding of our spaces in sanitation. And we learn from you every day, Dr. Mashelkar, not just from your intellect and talent, but also from your humility and your amazing personality. Thank you for your time and effort and guidance as you provide it. We've also gained significantly from Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji's engagement with us. Natasha talked about the LHI and the Lighthouse Initiative, which we have with his ministry. In a long and very late evening conversation that we had with him, he was adamant that he wanted to be here amongst us. And I had to plead with him, saying, I know how busy you are, so please at least do a recording. And he said, no, I will be there in person, no recording. But he now has had to basically end up doing this as a recording, which I believe will be shared with us. And I haven't seen it either in terms of his address. But he leaves us in no doubt that the work we do with him is critical. And we have his voice, we certainly have his ear in terms of what we do here at the India Sanitation Coalition. Equally, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri,
not with us today. Many of you have heard him here at this forum in the past. He is, again, a big supporter of the work that we do in sanitation, and you'll hear more about the memorandum that we have signed with Mahua, with the Ministry of Urban Sanitation, and how we will work and continue to work, but how we will take that work further with that ministry as well. So for all of you here, representatives of government, many of our partners, including the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, UNICEF, Water.org, the Aga Khan Foundation, members of our steering committee, members of our advisory council, and of course, the winners of the ISC FICCI Sanitation Awards 2023. Welcome to the next 2 days of deliberations. Now, without safe water, sanitation, and hygiene, we as a country cannot progress. And that is why WASH is an integral component of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It cuts across many of the SDGs, not just hygiene, because no matter where you look in the SDGs as set out by the UN, the work we do impacts every space therein. And I think I can only congratulate you that have stayed on this journey in terms of the work you do in this critical sector. And it is really with the vision and leadership of our Prime Minister that the world now looks at what is the largest Jan Andolan, which, as you well know, launched as the Swachh Bharat mission. We achieved the remarkable feat of finally having access to toilets across India at almost 100%. That everyone, if they can't own a toilet, has access to the toilet. And the journey on open defecation free is again one which is only achieved once you allow that access. So as we look at the whole area of improving levels of cleanliness in rural areas through solid and liquid waste management, making our villages ODF+, we have to look at the work which has been done by the government, and we know that we have achieved model status at over 1 lakh villages, and that journey of achieving model status, and it's a very comprehensive list, as I don't need to tell you who work in it, in terms of what it takes to be a model status village, which it is wastewater, it's plastic waste management, and of course it is everything to do with what we've all been working on in terms of toilets and sewage treatment therein. Of this journey, and I'm not going to bore you with the statistics because they are there available to all of us on the websites, that the plastic waste management area is something which is fairly new in this development, and it's new for us too at the India Sanitation Coalition. The good news is there are over 2,500 plastic waste management units that have been constructed. And we also know that there are, and this is talking about rural India, the 2,677 fecal sludge management plants which have been made operational. So we have an impressive 11.3 crore individual household latrines and over 2 lakh community toilets constructed under SBM Rural thus far. This is no mean achievement. Our role has to be to make sure they remain operational, that the behavior change exercise we embarked on that ensures that people use them continues to happen, and that we repair and ensure that that facility is available every year, all the time. I must say that even as I drive into a lot of parts of India, particularly on my wildlife sojourns, I'm delighted to see year on year the improvement. I'd always stop to do an inspection of toilets, and the quality of toilets is really one which is now quite remarkable across our highways, even at our wildlife destinations, and it's often the pride with which the people who are keeping them clean are doing the work. The respect that we have to give such that have in the past only seen this as the work for those that can't get another job is something that must and will change. So when we now go forward with the work we're doing with the ministry through the Lighthouse Initiative, and you will hear a lot of this in the discussion led by the Secretary, Vinny Mahajan, later, I just want to say that that initiative has brought forward a number of corporates. The first 10 that signed up for the 75 GPs, and now another 30 waiting to sign up for the rest, only tells me that these partnerships, the partnership between the private sector and public, the partnership by which corporates are coming in to manage, to monitor these projects, government saying we have the money, we want to make sure the corporate is there to ensure that the money is well spent, are all examples of how this partnership between government and the private sector and the work of the not-for-profits, the work of each and every one of you at the grassroots, this partnership where community is also very much a part of that exercise is the only way that we will sustain the efforts we start on. And I think we must build on these partnerships. The government has recognized it, has recognized the work that all of you do, and we have to ensure now that these projects are indeed out there for all to see. We saw the coming together of corporates like ITC, Tata Trust, HCL Foundation, Ambuja Cement, JSW Foundation, Nayara Energy, Jindal Steel and Power, Aga Khan Foundation, and the work with the state missions, local governments, the community under our oversight at the India Sanitation Coalition to take forward this work under the Lighthouse Initiative is, I hope, something which we can grow enormously, because the ideal would be that we cover every Gram Panchayat in the country. So it's only the start of a journey. Now, as we go forward, and I won't spend too much time on the Lighthouse Initiative because you'll hear a lot about this in the session dedicated to this, we also have the work that has started and continues at the Urban Mission. And there we know that the vision of achieving clean India is actually in many ways much more of a challenge. But as we look at declaring our cities open defecation free, we have indeed said all cities have been declared open defecation free. We know that behavior change needs continuous work, that just provision of toilets and making sure that people use those toilets have to be able to work together. And the large number of latrines that have been developed and built to make sure that they remain in functioning order, and the massive infrastructure developed is repaired and always functional, are challenges we have to continue to work on, and of course to make sure people use them. So this just only tells me that for every journey, every point, every milestone we cover, it creates the next level of challenge, the challenge to make sure that the effort continues, even as we start to do new work. For example, now in capturing wastewater, in making sure that the energy that resides in the sewage can be used, treated, and applied through technology in ways that benefits us as a country. Impact of climate change on WASH, India's agenda. We have chosen to widen our ambit today in the discussions to be far more broad, to cover this important area in ways that you will hear through the next couple of days. We know that the G20, which India hosted, focused on resilient and inclusive growth. I was there for the ministerial session on the whole area to do with women and women empowerment. and of course made sure that I discussed and shared India's success in the journey in sanitation and water. And it was very encouraging to hear delegates and others understanding of what we had done as a country and the respect with which they look on us today. And I can tell you that 15 years ago, when I went to similar forums to do with sanitation and water, India always looked a disgrace. I used to have to try and hide the fact that I was Indian because of the criticism that always came up about how little we were doing. And the good news now is there are countries that were wanting to understand what it is that we had done, and even more importantly, to understand how we had done it. So we now have an important role to play to keep this standard at one which we can be proud of, and we still have a ways to go, and equally to share the examples of what has succeeded and what has not, so that others that want to follow and do what we are doing continue on that journey. A crucial component of these goals is safe, sustainable, and equitable wash provisions for all. So we can no longer ignore the elephant in the room that has the potential to disrupt most of our well-made plans, climate change. It has an impact on what we do, and you may be wondering what that is, but over the next 2 days, we hope you will understand how what we do also impacts climate change and why what we do is so important on the climate change journey. We know from the words of the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, who warned world leaders that humanity is on a highway to climate hell with a foot on the accelerator. So here we are, accelerating downhill on climate change. And the G20 Leaders Summit underscored a pressing need to confront the challenges of climate change. So we can't ignore it in our work in the sector. And during that summit, the G20 nations committed to urgently accelerate their actions to address environmental crises and challenges, including climate change. So we at the India Sanitation Coalition recognize the criticality of ensuring sustainability of assets. How can we build assets that withstand the furor of climate change? The behaviors that have been developed under phase 1 of the SBM program and in the light of challenges presented, and how can we use these examples to build right and use right as we go forward. So climate modeling and projections suggest that climate change will only increase the disruption of normal life. And what can we do to ensure that that disruption is manageable? So accordingly, the impact of climate change on WASH, India's agenda, which seeks to forward the discourse on climate-resilient WASH infrastructure and services, solid and liquid waste management, the circular economy, accelerating decarbonization in India, and WASH financing are all parts of the discussion that you will hear over the next 2 days. In alignment with this year's theme, I'd also like to share with you about 2 upcoming projects that we have embarked on. I mentioned plastic in my opening statement. The first is on plastic circular cities, which aims to tackle the problems caused by plastic waste, and it's an attempt to find solutions to effective plastic waste management for 6 cities identified in Maharashtra at the moment with 1 million population. So we've taken the next level of cities down. And why Maharashtra? It's because our sponsor and us decided we'll start somewhere, so let's start there. And the purpose of this is not to stop with that, but once we have it right, to give replicable models across the country. So the work you do at the outset becomes important, and I hope that each one of you will look to see how you can engage with us on this journey. Godrej Consumer Products and the India Sanitation Coalition have embarked on an ambitious and actually critically necessary initiative which aims to demonstrate these pilots. And I do hope that over the next 5 years, we will provide a sustainable and inclusive waste management solution that is also replicable. The other project, which I would encourage you all to understand over the next couple of days, we will share this with you, is the climate resilient coastal cities, which we work on 4 coastal states of India to identify climate resilience dimensions and associated deficiencies. And looking at that, attempting to co-create specific solutions in climate resilient wash infrastructure in these geographies. So both at urban city level and coastal city, tackling it through an eye on plastic and wash is really our agenda. Our annual knowledge series called Business of Change this year, put together with amazing effort really of the one individual, Sanjeev here, who is the architect of much that is good in our ISC workings. This knowledge series called Business of Change embarks on capturing best practices and success stories on managing plastic waste, which is one of our pressing problems. It goes without say. It's an assault on our senses. We see plastic everywhere. And how do we look at safeguarding our environment? And the compendium titled Cities in Crisis, Best Practices on Curbing Plastic Waste Across Urban India is a collection of 20 case studies, each meticulously curated to showcase innovative approaches, best practices, success stories in the domain of plastic waste management in urban India. And of course, we do also now give awards in plastic waste, and we will continue to grow the number of awards in these areas going forward. These cases are not only scalable and replicable, but also well suited for nationwide implementation. And that is one of the criteria that we adopt as we showcase, as we award, as we look at replication. We shall soon witness the unveiling of this compendium today as well. Our workshops, they continue across the whole SLWM space, and the objective of this workshop is to increase familiarity and awareness regarding the infrastructure for SLWM, covering all 5 components of SBMG2. So that is toilet access and use, biodegradable waste and menstrual waste, plastic waste, grey water management, a very important area for recapture of water, and fecal sludge management. So really very comprehensive in the way it is looked at. I thank leading sector experts, government, NGOs, corporate houses, representatives, that all the implementation that we have seen makes this kind of workshop a huge success. And then the awards. Now in our 7th edition, spearheaded, led by Dr. Mashelkar and a very eminent jury, this stands as a testament to our commitment to Swachh Bharat mission. The performance outcomes that we have witnessed over these past few years underscores the undeniable success of the awards. And even if I say it, we take heart from the fact that most, if not all, of our awardees have gone on to achieve greater and greater things. The same ones we picked in the beginning are now standing tall in terms of their scale and the impact that they are having in the space. So I have to thank our jury for picking well. I have to thank those that have received the awards for having ensured that they stayed on the journey and benefited, I hope, from the awards with the credibility that we bring, but more importantly, that they have also continued to show us the way of what is working in terms of scale. So this year's edition of what we call our the award categories, this is important because of the 2 new special award categories we've introduced: Best Collaboration in Plastic Waste Management, Medium and Large Corporates, and Best Initiative in Plastic Recycling and Waste Management by micro, small, and medium enterprises. This strategic move reflects our dedication now to integrating waste management into the broader framework of sanitation. And indeed, the government's model villages are looking at like this, and we have to look at the integrated cycle of waste management as well. This year, we witnessed a remarkable increase in the number of applications received. These applications came from top corporates, state government departments, as well as grassroots level organizations, and you will see many of them come up to receive the awards today. It is worth highlighting that with this increasing number of applications, the benchmark also gets set higher. Very heartening to see the enthusiastic participation in the Women Changemakers category. We received 22 nominations, many of which were from women Gram Pradhans, reflecting India's progress towards gender equality and the increasing leadership role of women in sanitation. So on behalf of ISC, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all the contestants and to the winners who have showcased their remarkable work by participating in these awards. The Accolade, which is our annual publication, which is different from our knowledge series, commemorates these awardees by providing the concise profiles of the winners, so you would be able to read more about them. And through these efforts, we aspire to inspire countless others to follow in the footsteps of those that have won these awards. I'm looking now at the area of communication and branding as something that is very critical for us as we go forward. And I was at this ministerial conference on women's empowerment at Gandhinagar at G20, with the interaction there, as I mentioned, with the delegates, and meeting so many of the women who have each in their own way carved a road for themselves, as it was, the subject was on women and empowerment. I know that some of the branding and communication we do is very important in terms of the messages we take going forward. Natasha has participated in the circular economy in sanitation, making profits from toilet work at IIT Madras. She was also jury for Business World Social Impact 2023, upholders of Social Welfare Summit. Sanjeev represented ISC as a panelist in Asian City Summit 2023. So we have been busy across many forums taking the message and work out there. And you have to provide us that content so we can share your successes across these forums, even as we look to capture what is good and great and happening right on the ground here. So with those words, thank you again for being here. Congratulations again to the winners. And Dr. Mashelkar, as usual, your presence makes such an important statement for us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for addressing the elephant in the room. Certainly, climate change has the potential to disrupt most of our well-made plans. But the future of WASH is extremely bright when leaders like you are around. Now, I would like to welcome on stage Dr. R.A. Mashelkar, former Director General Council of Scientific and Industrial Research and Chair India Sanitation Awards, to please address this audience.
I can take this out. Yeah. Let me extend a very, very warm welcome to you all, the 7th edition of ISC FICCI Sanitation Awards. Just now, you heard a very inspiring speech by a very inspiring leader. I thought before we begin, let me and let us all together pay a tribute to a legend who is no more amongst us. 15th August 2023, as you know, Bindeshwar Pathakji left us for his heavenly abode. And you know what he represents in terms of his contributions to environmental sanitation, bringing human dignity, the scale at which Sulabh International was able to reach, and the difference that he made. So I thought it will be appropriate that we all stand up in silence for 30 seconds just to remember him. Thank you very much. And with that, let me move to another personality, Naina, who just now spoke here. Naina, to me, represents purpose, perseverance, and passion. And that purpose is a big one as far as the nation is concerned. As you can see, an extraordinary visionary. And they say perseverance matters. Winners never quit, quitters never win. I've seen that resilient character in her with tremendous vision. Have been very, very inspired by her, and you can see the result. This is the 7th year, but the difference that it has made. So Naina deserves a great round of applause. Thank you, Naina. And I must also thank you for making me a part of this. My life would not have been complete, quote unquote, without this. I was given a speech by Mitali, by the way. I'm setting it aside completely because it becomes completely irrelevant after what you have covered. I think everything is covered. So I will just go a little anecdotal, little personal, because you would say, what is this scientist doing here in this space? How did you get involved? And what did you observe? What are the lessons for all of us? I'll also tell you about the process that we follow for judging. It's an extraordinarily interesting but rigorous process. And I thought that would be more sort of appropriate because they have heard everything that you had written down for me. Thank you so much, though, it was very helpful. I think few things. When Swachh Bharat, that was a clarion call made by our very bold and visionary Prime Minister. I'm saying bold because he made it from Red Fort, if you remember. That required sort of special courage to say that, yes, India needs to change and so on. And after that, there was a committee that was set up by Drinking Water and Sanitation Ministry. And that was to look at the drinking water and sanitation technologies. I'm a scientist and technologist from around the world and choose the best. Now, we didn't want to do some hand waving and sort of have really rigorous criteria to pick up the best. And that is where we created this assured framework. All right. And I will explain that assured framework to her. Very interestingly, when the committee was made, I saw that all the members were technology experts. But very quickly one realized that it was not about building toilets, it was about using toilets. So it was not about science but behavioral science. And we got some social scientists also involved in that process. And what we learned might amuse you, but that's the reality, what I discovered, because I visited villages trying to learn how things actually operate at a ground level and so on. And I remember Nilima Mishra, who is a Maxis Award winner, as you know. She was working in a village and she told me something interesting. She said there were toilets, there was water, everything was fine, but women will not use it. Why? Because they would, before the sunrise, they will collectively go. They had different groups. And there they will communicate their personal problems, this, that, and the other. And that opportunity was missing to communicate with each other, because they were getting isolated. So she did an innovation, which was creating semicircular row of toilets, where everything about this was open, so that you could communicate. And the use, which was 0%, became 100%. So when I say it's not just science, but behavioral science, I'm quite sure there must be normalcy now in terms of, because I'm talking about something that happened much earlier, but how human behavior matters. And that is not factored in, things will not basically work. So that was one point I saw. The other point was that, among our awardees, one of the awardees, because we talk about technology, in fact, Naina and I were talking about how in manufacturing, with the advance of technology, the jobs are going to be in danger, and what are the alternative jobs in terms of reskilling, new skilling, etc., etc. And one of the awardees was Bandicoot, as you know, who created robots which could go and clean. Okay, and now they are in 17 states, which is a sort of a wonderful news. But then what happens to the sanitation workers? Because they lose their jobs. All right. So what they did was that they trained those sanitation workers as robo operators. Now you can just see the human side of it. If their children were asked, what does your father do? They would have put their head down and said, he is a manual scavenger. Okay, because we are trying to live the dignity, but that is the way it is. Today, if they are asked, what does your father do? They'll put their head up and say, he's a robo operator. You understand? This is access to dignity, so as to say. So I think this particular balance, it is not man versus machine, it is man and machine. We'll have to bring in all these, and we sort of look at that very carefully. The third point I wanted to make was about the assured framework itself. How did it come about? I must tell you about the background, by the way. What is the origin of that framework? So there is a book that I have written, Leapfrogging to Pole Vaulting, creating the magic of rapid yet sustainable transformation. And this has become bestseller, best book award winner in 2019. And there the idea is, just as frog leaps because he's afraid of the predator and jump a few feet, we should not do that. The size of our aspiration, is such that we should be able to pole vault. And the distance that you can go depends upon the size of your aspiration. Making rapid progress as far as India is concerned, not 10%, but 10x, thinking in a completely different way. And somebody asked me, how do you make sure that when you pole vault, you don't break your back? And that is where we created that assured framework for assured innovation. So all of you have actually gone through that particular matrix. That matrix is being used even today by Jal Shakti, by the way, in order to sort of qualify for their certification and so on and so forth. And as you can see, each of the factor makes you think in terms of what you are not thought about. Like the first is affordability. That's very important for India and for everybody. Then scalability. Invariably, if you are affordable, it becomes scalable, but not always. There are factors that come in. Then sustainability. It comes on diverse factors. For example, business-wise, it has to be sustainable. If you depend upon government subsidies, when governments go, subsidies go, and you become unsustainable. Environmental. Unless it is green, you will not survive. Regulatory policies. Suddenly, if they change and you are not prepared, there is a sort of a challenge. Society must accept it, like what I just now said. So sustainability is judged from a variety of factors. Then user friendliness, some kind of a universality is very important. Then we always look at excellence. Naina referred to using the latest technology, and as you can see now, the exponential technology is growing in terms of artificial intelligence, advanced automation, robotics, etc., etc.? Are we using the latest? And it is about innovation, by the way, not just technological innovation, business model innovation, system delivery innovation, organization innovation. There has to be something new in order, because innovation is all about doing things differently to make a difference. Are we doing things differently, or are we just being copycats? We like us to be leaders, India to be leaders. And finally, distinctiveness, not me too. All right, is it the same as copied from somebody, so that we can do better? And I must thank the jury, because this appears just as a first screen, by the way. This is not the ultimate. It is the jury who take a call. And I'm very grateful for the jury that we have had, Naina, over the last 7 years. Extraordinary insight, extraordinary wisdom coupled with insight. And I have learned from them. So I want to thank them for that. The other point I like to make is, of course, Natasha, you and your entire team has been phenomenal, because it's not easy to get so many applications and deal with them and the processes that you follow before it comes to us. I think you make our jobs so very easy, and your commitment, passion, I want to actually thank you. There is a lot of good news this year, as you said, 50% new application. That's wonderful. Women, that part that you talked about, which is extraordinarily important. I overall feel that this has been a tremendous process. I think finally, Naina, as I was mentioning, tomorrow I'm giving a public lecture, because we talk about India at 75, but one is worried about Bharat at 75. 70% staying in, of course, villages. 1 out of 6 in urban area staying in slums. 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5 now below the poverty line, and 1 out of 5 is still illiterate. So what do we do about that? So we need to worry about Bharat at 100, and lots of our awards are for that Bharat that we talk about. So I'm talking about Bharat at 100. And within that, what the dream is that it has to be a Santulit Bharat, balance, environment, ecology, economics, equity and ethics. How do you keep that balance? It has to be Suvidya Bharat, of course, educated as well as enlightened. Susanskrit Bharat, culture, not only respecting our own culture, but other cultures also is being part of Susanskrit. Samruddha Bharat, we don't want to get trapped as a middle income country. How do we move that? Sushasit Bharat, well governed, and of course Swanandi. But in that, in the 7 points, I added 1 point, that is Swachh Bharat. Swachh within as well as outside. And you know what I'm trying to basically say. And therefore, this particular mission, I would call this as a mission, this is a movement, by the way, is extraordinarily important. Finally, and most importantly, the winners. The jury has had interactions with them, but it is great to see you in person, by the way. And what you have done, you are going to become kind of the exemplars for others. I know that each of the awardee will be applauded, but why don't we, in advance, give a thunderous applause to all of them collectively. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your continued guidance and words of encouragement. We will certainly strive to make the future editions of the awards more grander and bigger. And now we come to the segment that is most awaited every year by the sector. Yes, I am talking about the FICCI Sanitation Awards ceremony. So I would like to invite Ms. Natasha Patel, CEO, India Sanitation Coalition, to kindly announce the winners of this year's Sanitation Awards.
I have a lot of messages that I've been asked to give. The fact that we are a firmly established national level award, very, very important for us to state. The fact that our past winners have transformed themselves into very, very successful startups and social enterprises. The fact that as a prestigious platform which was established 7 years ago, we have done outstandingly in terms of awarding innovations in the field of sanitation. It also brings me great joy to say again that over 100 institutions applied, and a lot of them were actually first time. I honestly feel humbled when I see some of these organizations coming in and applying for the awards, because when we read about them, we actually understand how much they have achieved compared to what we at the Secretariat are trying to do. It's a very small thing that we're doing compared to the hard work and the dedication and the effort that they all put in. And I don't know if there are words enough for me to say thank you to them for applying for these awards, because truly it is through this recognition that we wish the rest of India to understand what they've been able to do. So thank you again. And Dr. Mashelkar, I'll just say thank you. Right, so announcing the categories. The first category is the Best Corporate Initiative in Sanitation for CSR, Small and Large. Now, this organization has dedicated almost 2 decades to enhancing the safety and well-being of women and children in marginalized communities. The Pink Centers, their flagship initiative, collaborates with Delhi Municipal Corporation and the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights to provide exclusive sanitation facilities for women. These centers are repurposed government-owned infrastructure operated by women and offer not only basic sanitation but a range of amenities. Despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Pink Centers remained operational, serving as a vital resource for the community with 3.5 lakh visitors. Presently, there are 20 Pink Centers in Delhi with plans for further expansion. Through Garima Griha, as they are called, they are creating versatile, safe sanitation complexes that set new standards for women's safety and empowerment. As of June 2023, the centers provided safe spaces for 290 persons with disabilities and 203 transgender individuals, promoting diversity and inclusivity in public restrooms. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the Best Corporate Initiative in Sanitation Large is PVR Nest. A big round of applause for our winners. Sorry? I'm going to stay here, sir. Yeah. Please. Right. Moving to our next category 2, the best non-profit engagement model in sanitation, urban and rural. Now, for the urban category, this is a transformative program that has dedicated itself to uplifting marginalized communities such as Dalits, Adivasis, urban poor, other backward castes, minorities, and vulnerable women, children, and youth. Its mission revolves around eradicating manual scavenging, empowering the sanitation community, and ensuring proper technology and equipment for sanitation workers. They place great emphasis on empowering the sanitation community by nurturing leadership and reinforcing community-based organizations led by community leaders. The program supported 22,500 individuals through Adhikari Prapti Seva Kendra and trained 90 community-based leaders providing safety equipment to 1,100 sweepers. Under the program, 1,150 open defecation sites were demolished and 1,927 individuals left manual scavenging completely. A big round of applause for Jan Vikas. Right. So we're going to do a bit of a challenge for us TIACO members who are always so diligent in attending all our conclaves. So this time I'm going to invite each one of our TIACO members to come up and actually give away the awards. Yeah? All right. So for the first one, maybe Ishan, if you can do the honors. Thank you. Oh. Right. For the next rural category, the next is the rural category. This organization implemented Project Unnati, which aims to enhance menstrual and reproductive health awareness and skills among underprivileged adolescents and young women in remote areas of West Bengal, in collaboration with Social Venture Partners India. It provides sustainable menstrual care through reusable cloth pads, which are sustainable, with outreach facilitated by Ashas and Anganwadi workers, targeting regions where affordable menstrual products and services are scarce. It also encourages community involvement, including men, to create supportive environments for menstrual and reproductive education. They promote financial sustainability by selling online products under Anahat Unnati, training women to create sustainable cloth pads and addressing both affordability and sustainability. During the pandemic, they expanded to Bihar and Himachal Pradesh, training more than 200 women and launching brands like Swadeshi and Hemshakti. A big round of applause for Anahat for Change Foundation. I have another announcement to make. Unfortunately, Anahat for Change could not make it to the conclave, and a big learning for me personally, they were not able to make it because they don't have funds. And I think we forgot that NGOs are very cash strapped. From next year onwards, we will keep this in mind. So again, a big round of applause for them, and we will make sure we send them your congratulations. Next, I would like to introduce our next category, number 3, Best Communication in Sanitation, Traditional and Digital. First, presenting the rural subcategory. This rural development program, launched in UP's Hardoi district, addresses comprehensive issues in agriculture, education, environment, health, livelihood, and WASH. Sorry. Their sanitation initiative focuses on breaking the fecal-oral contamination cycle by promoting consistent toilet use. Unlike traditional infrastructure-centric approaches, I'll finish. It emphasizes community mobilization and creating open defecation-free gram panchayats. To attain ODF plus status, the program focuses on community capacity building through methods like community-led total sanitation and advocacy at various government levels. At present, the project is covering 11 blocks of Hardoi district, benefiting 2.1 million people. They implemented innovative tools like public announcement systems, interactive games, mobile voice messaging, and Kudasur, the plastic man. Community engagement was enhanced with Gaurav Yatra and intersectoral meetings, construction of resource recovery centers at the GP level and material recovery facilities at the block level, and active engagement through various communication efforts have inspired community members to take collective ownership of the collection and disposal of waste from their households, bringing us to the winner in this category, which is the HCL Foundation. Let's give them a big round of applause. Just a small anecdote about this particular initiative. We went and actually visited it, and I have to say that every single aspect of community life gets covered. So for any of you that are interested, any corporates here that are interested in looking at what HCL has done, it is worthwhile a visit. Right. Can I invite Manoj to maybe join us as well? Right. Next, in the digital subcategory, this mission-driven program integrates the central government's SBMG and the state government's Lohia Swachhta Yojana to eradicate open defecation in the state, with a special emphasis on behavior change communication to attain ODF plus status in rural areas. The organization's Digital Communication and Monitoring System project established digital communication channels such as mobile apps, SMS services, and online tools to efficiently reach over 5 lakh households, providing information and updates on sanitation practices and hygiene to rural communities. DCMS also functions as a real-time monitoring and reporting tool, facilitating data-driven decision-making and enhancing stakeholder accountability in sanitation and hygiene efforts. The initiative is currently active in 1,671 gram panchayats across all 38 districts of the state, with a particular focus on SPM Grameen implementation, including solid and liquid waste management activities. The unique digital communication intervention is carried out with support of the Development Management Institute of Patna in collaboration with UNICEF Bihar. Its success highlights the potential for similar digital systems to enhance the impact and outreach of such initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, Lohia Swachh Bihar Abhiyan is the winner in this category. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. The next category, number 4, is the best innovative financial accessibility model for WASH, large financial institutions, micro institutions, banks, and government financial institutions. This NBFC microfinance institution offers microcredit to economically active rural women, featuring 3 types of sanitation loans with a 24% interest rate. Loan categories include water and sanitation combinations, toilet construction, and toilet improvement. Their risk management approach involves collaboration, education, and a stringent strategy for prudent lending, regulatory compliance, operational control, and cybersecurity. A streamlined approach process enables quick loan disbursement, and digital methods promote eco-friendly operations. Between January 2021 and December 2022, they disbursed WASH loans to over 1.18 lakh households, primarily for sanitation purposes, totaling around INR 137 crores. In 2022, they reached out to more than 76,000 clients, delivering personalized support for construction, repairing, or retrofitting hygienic toilets. Post-disbursement, they assess loan success, share stories, and conduct satisfaction surveys. Please give a big round of applause to Satin Care Credit Network Limited. Prabhakar, could we invite you now to join us? Right, moving to category 5, best engagement model in sanitation by a social enterprise startup. Now, this organization is dedicated to tackling significant social and environmental issues through innovative solutions. They focus on supporting sanitation and waste collection workers, a group often marginalized and stigmatized. Their introduction of fully contactless cleaning machines known as Jatayu not only enhances, you guys already know who I'm talking about, right? Not only enhances, but I'm going to read this, enhances safety, but also improves waste management efficiency. Through training and empowerment, they uplift the livelihoods of sanitation workers and reduce health hazards related to waste handling for both waste workers and the communities they serve. Currently operational in 18 Indian states, they have successfully exported their machines to Japan and the USA. Their machines have remediated 912 sanitation workers from manual waste collection, reducing their direct contact with garbage and improving their well-being. 304 operators have been upskilled through training programs, empowering them to operate and maintain the machines effectively. Please give a big round of applause to Spruce Up. Right. Our 6th category, which is special recognition, the Special Recognition Award for the government. The first subcategory under this is the state that undertakes the maximum number of GPs under LHI. Is Rahul here? Rahul? Okay. Under the Lighthouse Initiative, Phase 1 in Uttar Pradesh, 11 Gram Panchayats were selected in partnership with 4 corporate entities, namely ITC, HCL, Aga Khan, Tata Trust for implementation. The Lighthouse Initiative has positively impacted approximately 3,400 households in these 11 villages. The state government provided infrastructure while the corporate partners conducted IEC and BCC activities to raise awareness about sustainable waste management, toilet usage, and asset maintenance. A big round of applause for the efforts of the government of Uttar Pradesh. The second subcategory under special recognition for government is state with maximum model GPs. Model GPs under the LHI framework. In the first phase of the Lighthouse Initiative in Bihar, 8 Gram Panchayats encompassing 23 villages were selected in partnership with ITC for implementation. Of these, 6 Gram Panchayats comprising 9 villages have already achieved model status, while 2 Gram Panchayats encompassing 14 villages are progressing towards the model status. A total of 897 household toilets have been constructed under the initiative. Door-to-door solid waste collection and fecal sludge management processes have been established effectively, clearing legacy waste and rendering these villages as models. A notable success story emerged from Bihar, where toilet sludge was transformed into valuable manure, reducing costs for farmers and enhancing fecal waste management. This practice not only provided farmers with quality manure, but also reduced their dependence on external purchases. Bihar's performance exemplifies a successful public-private partnership where government and corporate cooperation facilitated timely project initiation and completion on the ground. A big round of applause for the government of Bihar. I'm not sure whether people in the audience will agree with me, but I have for many, many years heard that UP and Bihar are states where it is very difficult to get anything done. I have to say that for me, these two are model states. Amazing. Moving on to our next category. Neeraj, would you also like to join us? Yeah, moving on to our next category, 7, Best Fecal Sludge and Septage Management Model, Urban and Rural. And for the rural category, this organization has collaborated as a technical partner with the Karnataka Rural Development and Water Supply Department. The technology adopted a nature-based system featuring plant drying beds and water percolate systems, minimizes labor and process monitoring requirements, ensuring FSTPs operate efficiently with minimal energy consumption. Presently, 10 FSTPs are operational with 6 more under construction. Approximately 11 lakh rural citizens are directly covered across 300 GPs. 3,200 stakeholders have been trained at the state KRDW and SD office. The cluster-based approach employed in the 16 pilot projects has been expanded not only within the state, but also to rural areas in other states like Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. The initiative's learnings have been shared at national and international forums, contributing to the FSM sector. A big round of applause for CDD India for their intervention in rural areas. It will go ready. The next category, so the winners, there were no winners in the urban category, subcategory this year. So I'm going to skip that. We come to the 8th category, which is the best skilling initiative in sanitation. Launched in September 2020 is the Garima scheme. Again, I'm sure you all know. Improve the safety and dignity of core sanitation workers who handle human waste. This scheme, implemented by the Housing and Urban Development Department, Government of Odisha, covers all 115 urban local bodies, benefiting approximately 20,000 CSWs and their families, impacting 1 lakh people. It provides training and certification for sewer entry professionals. The training approach incorporates simulations, case studies, interactive games, and role-playing to facilitate learning and assess comprehension. Training centers provide realistic models of septic tanks and safety equipment, and funding comes from the state budget and a specific corpus fund. The program has already certified 280 SEPs with ongoing training and trained 800 deputy supervisors and emergency response sanitation unit members to strengthen their roles. The benefits include increased awareness, enhanced employability, income generation, improved health, diversified livelihoods, and economic returns. A big round of applause to the Housing and Urban Development Department, Government of Odisha. But Garima is an excellent scheme. Lots of states are copying them, so yes. Right, now we come to the 9th category, excellence on work for upliftment of sanitation workers. This organization is a powerful force for change and empowerment. Its core mission is to uplift scavenger communities through education, shared experiences, and entrepreneurship, and unleash their full potential. These efforts manifest in the establishment of community centers with books, activities, and computers run entirely by the community members, creating leadership opportunities within scavenger communities. Through this mission, they have introduced the Fellows for Equality program, sponsoring leaders within their communities to drive positive change and initiate new projects. What sets them apart is their origin within the scavenger community itself, bringing first-hand experience and fueling their passion for change. The initiative has grown from serving 10 students in 2009 to 10,000 in 2023. They've expanded their reach, opening multiple Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar centers. At these centers, they prioritize empowering women, with 80% of students being girls. Their initiatives have also reduced drug abuse and violence in these communities. Please give a big round of applause to the Movement for Scavenger Community. Mitali, this one you announce. Yes, because I will now go and stand with them. Now these are all the women change makers, no? Nice. So मैं announce, तुम announce करो, मैं आगे जाकर
This next category is very close to our heart, bringing you to category 10, Women Changemaker in Sanitation. The competition was very close this year, and it is evident from the fact that the top position in this category is shared by two individuals with matching contributions. And that is not all. There are two jury special mentions too, as these changemakers are doing exceptional work in the field of sanitation. Our first winner is a remarkable leader who transformed Gargeshwari GP in Karnataka. In 2019, a decentralized solid waste management initiative was started as public-private partnership between ITC Limited and Mysore Zilla Panchayat. The program's goal was to establish hub GPs as exemplary waste management centers and empower women from self-help groups to become leaders. Faced with visible dump sites, odor issues, and inadequate waste management, this changemaker spearheaded efforts to improve waste practices with invaluable support from ITC and SNEH NGO. Her leadership brought about behavioral change and mobilized the community, breaking down socio-cultural barriers in waste management. She received training and with her determination transformed not only her GP but also helped 72 other GPs in improving their waste management systems, benefiting around 85,000 households. Her efforts resulted in a significant increase in source segregation and home composting. This exceptional leader truly embodies the spirit of positive change and women empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Aspia Banu. Next, we are here to honor an extraordinary changemaker who has emerged as a transformative leader not only within her community but also as a beacon of inspiration for transgender individuals. Her journey began in response to the severe marginalization faced by the transgender community in Bhubaneswar, particularly exacerbated by the challenges brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Swikriti SHG, led by her, effectively manages the FSTP in Begusarai. Her contributions extend beyond sanitation, encompassing partnerships with Watco for water ATMs operated by transgender members and innovative cost-effective solutions for managing cesspool vehicles. She has not only benefited her community but also 18 lakh citizens of Bhubaneswar through her dedication to fecal sludge and septage management. Her work has inspired similar SHGs in Odisha, creating stronger community-based organizations and motivating others with her exceptional leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Meghna Sahu. Always appreciative of the good work and motivating women leaders to increase efforts to ensure safe and sustainable sanitation, the jury decided to recognize the endeavors of the two such other leaders as special mentions. Ladies and gentlemen, we take great pride in recognizing the Gram Pradhan of Rajpur Gram Panchayat in Uttar Pradesh. She has been a true catalyst for positive change in her community, tirelessly working to transform mindsets and behavior regarding waste management, plastic waste, hygiene, and sanitation, with a particular focus on women and children. Her visionary initiatives include plastic buyback policies, installation of plastic banks, and portable hand washing stations have significantly enhanced plastic waste management and hygiene in her village. Under her leadership, she aspires to make Rajpur a plastic-free village. Her efforts which prioritize inclusivity, gender equality, and community engagement are truly inspiring. We extend our heartfelt congratulations for her outstanding contribution to the community, making it a shining example of positive change. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Priyanka Tiwari, special mention by the jury. Please don't click pictures from the center stage, otherwise you're coming in the frame, and the photographer will send you the pics, right? Next, we applaud the Mukhia of Harla Gram Panchayat for establishing Bihar's first Govardhan Yojana unit under her leadership. Supported by the district administration, she initiated a state-of-art biogas plant that produces 50 kgs of biogas, 1,000 liters of liquid manure, and 800 kgs of organic manure, benefiting 50 households. With extensive awareness campaigns, she encourages women participation in the plant's construction. The plant provides biogas, organic manure, and jobs and has achieved ODF Plus status for her panchayat. She envisions it becoming a training center for other Gram Panchayats promoting ODF Plus villages. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Komal Kumari, a special mention by the jury in this category. The penultimate category for today and the first in the special category is Best Initiative in Plastic Recycling and Waste Management by an MSME. This organization aims to achieve zero waste to landfill through comprehensive waste management services. They serve as an authorized plastic recycler and EPR executing agency. Their PPP model integrates various stakeholders and utilizes technology for efficient waste management. They employ innovative technologies such as facial recognition technology to track waste pickers and payments and have developed an EPR system for value chain creation. Their MRF at Indore operates through a PPP model with the Indore Municipal Corporation and Indore Smart City Development Authority. Through this approach, they involve waste pickers and automate waste pickup through the Let's Recycle software, utilizing online request generation. The organization has managed more than 5.6 lakh tons of dry waste till now, diverting 13.7 lakh tons of equivalent CO2 emissions. The winner is Nephra Resource Management Private Limited. Let's give them a big round of applause. Last but not least, we have the special category, Best Collaboration in Plastic Waste Management by a Corporate. The Waste No More program, a groundbreaking public-private partnership for plastic waste management, focuses on creating islands of excellence by promoting positive behavior change, developing sustainable waste management models, and ensuring comprehensive community inclusion. The Waste No More program has been launched in Mumbai's D Ward, K West Ward, and Aurangabad to drive behavior change at the individual household level to improve source segregation and divert waste from landfills. Major stakeholders include BMC, Aurangabad Municipal Corporation, and Hindustan Unilever, Dalmia Polypro, EcoSatwa, SBI Foundation, and various other local NGOs. The program's circular approach fosters self-sustainability, generates return on investment, and promotes downstream. No, I think they are here, but I lost the last cue card. I'm so sorry. A big round of applause to the winner, Zindio India Private Limited. I would like to thank all of you for your unrelenting efforts and for setting an example for others in the sanitation space. Congratulations to all the winners. Yeah. Now we move on to our next segment, that is unveiling of our annual compendium. And I would like to invite Ms. Natasha Patel, CEO, India Sanitation Collision, to please introduce the compendium to our audience.
I can promise you that the compendium is very exciting. But before I unveil it, I am going to ask you to be very patient and listen to what I have to say. This is because it's very important. It's a very, very important topic. It's something that I think all of us read about in the newspapers nearly once in 2 days. And my biggest fear is that we read about it, we accept that it's a huge challenge, but very often we don't even know what we can do as individuals to to help mitigate it. The compendium will talk a lot about how each individual can help mitigate these disasters. But before we go there, I want to give you a little bit of history around what this problem is all about. So just a couple of things that I picked up. Annually, our country, India, generates a staggering 3.4 million tons of plastic waste, of which only 30% is recycled. Further, 20% of plastic waste is diverted to co-incineration, plastic to fuel, and road construction, implying that this waste gets burnt. Going by these numbers, a staggering 1.7 million tons of plastic waste is annually either sent to landfills or aquatic dumps. The extensive use of plastic, coupled with inadequate disposal practices, poses a pressing threat to both our ecological system and human health. And I'm going to quote a little bit from the Marico Foundation research because it's excellent research. I don't know whether we have Mr. Mariwala in the room here, but he will recognize this piece, yeah? According to the Marico Innovation Foundation's report, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Tamil Nadu collectively contribute 38% of India's plastic waste. The 2019-2020 annual CPCB report on plastic waste management validates this data and states that India is the fifth highest generator of plastic waste in the world. The catastrophic impact that plastic production and pollution can have on climate change, nature loss, and pollution cannot be ignored. Plastics adversely affect human health, exacerbated by open burning, and are undeniable. I think all of us would have heard Prime Minister Modi, talking about the huge amount of solid waste which is dumped outside New Delhi. And all of us have seen tons of garbage waste which is deposited outside our towns. So I think this is a living example that we all have in front of us. Now, to address this escalating problem, the government, through the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban, has prioritized the transition towards garbage-free cities, emphasizing a comprehensive sanitation and waste management ecosystem. Encouraging a zero-waste approach, the mission aims to promote responsible production, consumption, and disposal of products, thereby instituting a closed circular system of waste management. However, no amount of government intervention is going to help to resolve the problem if civic societies do not play a more active and consistent part. It is often said that in urban India, the problem of sanitation is largely viewed as the government's responsibility, where the payment of taxes is expected to cover society's dues. But we know that this is too simplistic a solution to one of the most complex problems our country is facing. Starting with household segregation, to depositing of waste, to ensuring that proper hygiene is maintained in our communities, civic societies have a large and equally critical role to play in ensuring that our environment is kept clean and healthy. Our sanitation workers handling the bulk of waste operate under challenging conditions with inadequate resources, training, and protective gear. Moreover, the material recovery facilities and recyclers in the waste management industry often receive contaminated waste that cannot be recovered and is eventually disposed of in landfills. The plastic menace, a significant contributor to solid waste, necessitates a collective effort to curb its impact. And this brings us to our flagship annual publication, the Business of Change series titled Cities in Crisis, Best Practices on Curbing Plastic Waste Across Urban India. With 20 case studies from 19 organizations, this compendium sheds light on diverse solutions. Contributors include corporates, MSMEs, startups, NGOs, and think tanks, reflecting a nationwide effort to combat plastic waste. Taking a closed-loop approach is imperative. It is our premise that developing infrastructure along with a sustainable value chain at the micro level for upcycling or recycling will enable India to manage plastic waste sustainably. As you dive deeper into the case studies, you will see that each of the 20 models captured through this publication addresses in varying degrees one or more aspect of the closed-loop system of the plastic waste management value chain. Shall we do the unveiling? Naina, would you?
Thank you, ma'am. Collective actions are indeed the need of the hour, and to confront the plastic waste management crisis head on. I now request Natasha Patel, CEO, India Sanitation Coalition, and Ms. Naina Lal Kidwai to kindly do the honors and unveil the compendium. So we have some organizations who have contributed to the case studies, and I would like them to please come and join ma'am and Natasha ma'am, please, for a group pic with the copies of compendium. We have more copies. So we've got NEFRA, ITC, Sahas, One Earth Foundation, HCL Foundation. Please come, join ma'am and have a picture with the book. Yeah, Aditya is just bringing it. No, they have. Do we have CE also? Or any other organization that I missed who has contributed to the case studies? No. Thank you, everyone. I now request Ms. Madhurani Teosha, Director, Day NULM, Swachh Bharat Mission Urban Capacity Building, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, to please address the audience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Mashlekar ji, Ms. Naina Lal Kidwai ji, Ms. Natasha Patel ji, State Mission Directors of Swachh Bharat Mission, Chiefs of Corporates who are working in wash space in India, International Development Organization Chiefs, institutions who have been awarded today, and especially SHG Group who are here, the one from Odisha. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Natasha Patel ji to give this opportunity to me to address the gathering. The topic that is being taken by me today is collaboration with partners, a Swachh Bharat Mission urban initiative. The background is that, as all of you know, that 2014 till now, we are in the 10th year of Swachh Bharat Mission, and Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 has also completed 2 years. We were first focusing on ODF status, open defecation free, then ODF plus, ODF plus plus, water plus. Now we are focusing on garbage free cities. That is the motto of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0. On 17th of November, on the eve of say World Toilet Day, 19th of November, Ministry of Housing Urban Affairs launched this World Toilets Day event in the ministry, and our Secretary, Ministry of Housing Urban Affairs, Shri Manoj Joshi ji, launched this forum called Partners Forum for Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. Many organizations came together for this particular forum, partnership, and so many organizations are already working in their own capacity in the sector of wash, in the sector of sanitation. But like Natasha ji mentioned, that not only government, I mean everybody is working, so all of us should come together, and then collaborated efforts are the need of the hour. Many organizations, national, international, just to name few, UNICEF, USAID, BMGF, ISC, Hindustan Unilever, then Sulabh International, Jiva, NF, SSM Alliance, WashEye, and then Professor Dr. Jack Sim, founder and director of World Toilet Organization. All of them were there in person or through online mode to support this particular aspect. Now, when it comes to this topic of collaboration with partners, what is the framework of engagement? I'll go through that. Who all are going to be engaging in this particular forum? Public sector undertakings, corporate sector. This needs to be moved by me, right? Okay. So public sector undertakings would be there, corporate sector would be there, non-government organizations and other organizations would be there. The vision is to achieve garbage-free cities status. Scope of engagement is toilets, solid waste management, used water management, mechanical desludging. Again, mechanical desludging is something which the government of the day is focusing on. You must have heard about this term M2M. That means manhole to machine hole. So we don't want sanitation workers' lives to be at risk. We wish to have safety and dignity given to them. So that's why focus on mechanical desludging. And then overall sanitation workers' welfare. Now the areas of collaboration in which these partners would come along would be project implementation, operation and maintenance, behavior change, communication, knowledge management, innovative technologies, IT solutions, and many other. Who would qualify for this partnership? The organization concerned must have clean antecedents, high credibility and reputation, capacity and outreach for engaging with the community, and additional criteria would also be there for NGOs, civil society organizations and think tanks. What would be our ministry's role in that? We would identify and accept the partnerships and work area, facilitate coordination between the partner and the stakeholders, including the state governments, associating partner organization in national level consultations, and periodic evaluation of the collaboration, because it so happens, as I was discussing with Natasha Patel ji the other day, that many such partners forums come together and then we meet next year on the anniversary, but then we don't analyze what has gone into, what is the outcome, what is the output. So we would like to do periodic evaluations, and then what kind of support would be required from government sector, we will be providing that. How to apply? So the interested partners can submit their proposals as per the required format via email to sbmupartners@gmail.com. So that's it. Let's join the hands for Swachh Bharat. We have achieved a lot, and there's a lot more to be achieved. We wish to have all of you together, and from this forum that you have provided me, I would like to urge others also to take note of this particular initiative that has been launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and let us join hands and look forward to meet again with some solid collaborative efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for this insightful speech. Moving on, while we celebrate excellence in sanitation through the FICCI Sanitation Awards, we also commemorate the works of our awardees through an annual publication, the Accolade. This publication commemorates the FICCI Sanitation Awards by providing a brief profile of the winners, including a summary of their contributions to the sector. I request Ms. Nainalal Kidwai, Chair ISC, and Dr. R.A. Mashelkar, Jury Chair, FICCI Sanitation Awards, to kindly unveil the publication. Yes. Thank you, sir and ma'am. We now have a special message from Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, a Union Cabinet Minister, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs.
I am happy to be addressing you all at the India Sanitation Conclave. This conclave has become an important platform for disseminating innovations and best practices in the sanitation space. Since 2014, sanitation and hygiene have become a national priority under the Modi government. Leading from the front, the Honorable Prime Minister has orchestrated a paradigm shift in India's socio-economic development by bringing about a behavioral change towards Swachhta. Initiatives such as the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban and the Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, or AMRUT, have had a major impact on the state of sanitation throughout the country. The Swachh Bharat Mission has successfully addressed the challenge of open defecation by constructing 63 lakh individual toilets and 6.3 lakh public toilets in our urban areas. Today, more than 76% of the total waste generated is being processed as compared to a dismal 17% or even less in 2014. On the other hand, AMRUT has tackled the shortage of basic sanitation infrastructure by adding 172 lakh water tap connections and 135 lakh sewer connections across cities in the country. India has come a long way in its sanitation journey. While substantial progress has been made, more still needs to be done to build consensus on creating garbage-free cities under the next phase of the Swachh Bharat mission. Over the years, the India Sanitation Coalition has advanced this cause through its advocacy. I'm sure this edition of the conclave will further add to the national discourse on sanitation. I look forward to hearing about the deliberations at this event.
Thank you, sir, for addressing the gathering. We now have a special message from Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, Union Minister, Jal Shakti.
Namaskar. My friend Hardeep Singh Puri ji, colleague in the Union Cabinet Ministers, Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Anant Mashelkar ji, former Director General of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Mr. Manoj Joshi, Secretary Government of India, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ms. Vinnie Mahajan ji, Secretary Government of India, Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Padma Shri Ms. Naina Lal Kidwai ji, Chair India Sanitation Coalition and FICCI Water Mission and past President FICCI, Shri Shubhrakant Panda ji, President FICCI, Ms. Rupa Mishra, Joint Secretary and National Mission Director, Swachh Bharat Mission Urban, Ms. Natasha Patel, Chief Executive, India Sanitation Coalition, India, and Global Chief of Corporates, representatives of the development partners, including B&M Gates Foundation, UNICEF, Water Organization, Aga Khan Foundation, and all others. Winners of the India Sanitation Coalition FICCI Sanitation Awards 2023, dear friends in media, and ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I'm grateful to Naina ji and Natasha ji and the India Sanitation Coalition at FICCI to have invited me to the India Sanitation Conclave and India Sanitation Coalition FICCI Award Ceremony 2023 to speak up my heart. Dear friends, I know it is an important forum that is convened every year to discuss the most topical issues in sanitation in the country is facing, and for the government and industry to decide together the future course of action in the year that follows. The platform is also significant because it helps to disseminate innovations and best practices in the sanitation space in the country that has the potential to create a ripple that is needed to achieve the scale for Swachh Bharat mission. And gentlemen, let me also reflect a little on the sanitation landscape of India, more particularly rural India, as follows. I take enormous amount of pride in announcing from this forum that our country has achieved a significant milestone under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji under this mission. And today nearly 80% of the villages have declared themselves ODF plus under Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. Morning shows the day, and we as a nation are very confident that we will achieve the SBM Phase 2 goals in its entirely by 2025. Swachhata Hi Seva, a campaign which was the nation undertook in September, witnessed the participation of over 5 crore citizens of India, with over crores of them having done Shramdan. This is remarkable because the campaign converted the mission into a full-fledged Jan Andolan, which is a key, as Prime Minister always says, that is success of any big challenge. India is a vast land of diversity and cultural pluralism and a social good, which is an important and as enormous as securing a clean and garbage-free India is not easy to achieve without the campaign assuming a Jan Andolan proportion. I would like to further emphasize that Swachhata Jan Andolan is not possible without the participation of the partners outside the government. Ladies and gentlemen, I therefore emphasize that the non-stake actors, including the corporates, houses, have an equal role to play when these campaigns are undertaken to achieve the intended goal for the social good. I firmly believe that good governance without involving the private sector and other non-governmental entities in the country is difficult to achieve. There are innumerable examples of successful public-private partnerships in the country which have yielded very encouraging results. Highways and e-ways construction, world's best state-of-the-art airport construction are a few to quote among many. But when it comes to raising the water and sanitation infrastructure in the country, perhaps such partnerships are fewer than desirable. But it is not that such models does not exist at all. In fact, there are hybrid annuity models or PPP in setting up treatment plants for fecal waste across some of the southern states in India, but these are few and far between. I appeal to my corporate partners present here to come forward and assume greater responsibility in forging such partnerships where every part that is involved stands to benefit. On behalf of the Government of India and state governments, we will try to make sure that there remains adequate ease to do business when it comes to partnering with the government at different levels. India Sanitation Coalition at FICCI has assumed a very significant role in the public-private partnership space in water and sanitation in the country. Lighthouse Initiative is a wonderful example from which I would like to quote a few things. LHI was a truly unique partnership model, as it is for the very first time that corporate houses went beyond their catchment areas to adopt an entire Gram Panchayat for SLWM interventions for attaining the ODF Plus model status. It was also unique in its agility to respond to the needs of the community. While initially the corporates extends their support around the software component of SBMG, including ISC and capacity building initiatives, once the community and local governments voiced their need for capital investment for raising water and sanitation infrastructure also, the corporates were quick to respond to the need. Today, I am pleased to say that we have nearly achieved the lighthouse status for 75 Gram Panchayats across 15 states of the country. Aligned with the commemoration of Bharat's 75 years of independence, LHI Phase 2 is to be launched soon with support from nearly 40 big corporate houses covering more than 1,000 Gram Panchayats. The underlying philosophy of LHI is sustainability centric. These efforts are important because streamlined processes would not only ensure the creation of suitable infrastructure for SLWM, but also their sustenance and use. Friends, I congratulate the winners of the India Sanitation Coalition-FICCI Sanitation Awards 2023. I know the status of these awards have risen year after year, and I congratulate Naina ji and her team for commemorating 7 years of these awards in 2023. India Sanitation Coalition has instituted another significant award this year in the name of my friend late Rashid Kidwai, who was the co-founder of this coalition. The award is called Rashid Kidwai Innovation in Sanitation Awards, that is RAKIs, which seeks to harness the entrepreneurial potential of the sanitation sector in India and promote an enabling environment for enterprise development under Swachh Bharat mission. I'm happy that RAKIs awards are in synergy with the Swachh Technology Challenge that was curated by our ministries in the current year with remarkable success. Midway Innovation Award in Sanitation was instituted, keeping all that in mind. Together, we can achieve what we intend to achieve through the current missions: a cleaner, healthier, prosperous, happier, and a better, equal India, as our Honorable Prime Minister have envisioned. A new India, a new Bharat, a developed India, and developed Bharat. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. We are on the way to transforming India's water and sanitation space, and I'm sure your words will set the tone for an exciting journey ahead.